Welcome to UX Banter Podcast Season 2.
I'm your host Dushyant
Kanungo. Here, I speak with industry leaders about their journey in design and know more about what inspires them to become the best in the industry. This podcast is presented by Galaxy UX Studio and powered by Galaxy Weblinks, an Inc. 5000 organization.
Hello. So today's guest is joining us all the way from Chicago. She has over 18 years of professional experience in research, design, and innovation. She has a certain knack for solving problems, a quality she is putting to excellent use while working as a director of experience research at Motorola. She has also been an adjunct faculty at the Illinois Institute of Technology's Institute of Design for over 14 years. She has been an altruistic individual who has developed cancerworksheets.com, a medium to help cancer patients and their families. Welcome to the show, April Starr.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here, April. And we've been, talking second time this interaction is happening. And from the last interaction, I was looking forward to, talking to you in detail about your career and your, the journey that you have been on. To start off things with, I mean, my first question to you is that how have you, became a designer? What was the choices that you made that, this is the career path that I want to be on?
Well, I think like maybe most people my age, before we knew that design was an option, I think more people now know about design, but I didn't know about design. I took an art class in high school and was like, this seems sort of fun, but I also knew I had to do something practical. So design seemed like a good practical thing that also had some art involved. But I ended up really liking design a lot more because it kind of fed into my love of problem solving. But I didn't really realize that I loved problem solving until I got into design. But I also realized when I was in undergrad that I was actually a really shitty industrial designer. Because I spent all my time thinking about what the problem was and less about sort of what the look and feel of what I was designing was. So I was sort of more of a natural researcher from the beginning.
So what is your driving force like? I mean, what keeps you motivated in your career?
It's interesting. I mean, I think, in the beginning, I just loved really hard problems. And then I think that's sort of evolved over time to really systemic problems, really impact society in some way. So, right now I work in public safety. Public safety is obviously a very politically charged issue right now with, a lot of feelings towards police.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, there's a side of things that people don't really know about, which is that, we have a real public safety crisis in this country, that, people don't want to be police officers. But yet we really need people to be police officers because increasingly we don't have enough people to respond to incidents. Incidents of intimate partner violence, mental health issues are increasing. And so I feel really strongly about, what does the future of public safety look like? Clearly, it's not working the way it is right now. And so, as a researcher, but also kind of a service designer, I'm excited to kind of work on what the future of that kind of public service looks like. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about now.
I mean, that is amazing point of view to hear because you are actually out there solving a real world problem and working as, design for good, that philosophy as in practice. And I don't think that our listeners or many people realize that Motorola actually, you're working with Motorola to solve these problems. People generally think about Motorola as Motorazor or something Google has bought or those car stereos as the company started. So what is your, role as a day-to-day researcher or design lead or director as a professional looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there is so much confusion about Motorola. I'm glad you brought that up. So Motorola a while ago actually split into two companies. There's the consumer phone side that everybody knows about. The Razor was so hot back in the day. I
I
love
know.
the Star. I love the StarTAC myself. But the Motorola that I work for is called Motorola Solutions. And I'm sure most people remember the walkie-talkie. Police still use radios because that allows them to communicate very quickly, but also in a group setting, so they can all hear each other, and so that provides them a lot of situational awareness. And so, in a mission critical situation, it's very important for them to communicate that way. So that was sort of the origin of Motorola Solutions' foothold into public safety. But now we're very much a software company. And what we're doing is we're really building an end-to-end ecosystem of software for public safety. So we now design everything from when a call comes into a 911 center all the way to when that case goes to court. So what the incident gets documented, all of that
Wow.
data kind of flows end to end. And that information is so important because more and more, right, having that information be transparent to the public is so important because we need to know what's going on in our communities. We need to know, what's going on with our public safety agencies and how they are responding to our communities.
I mean, isn't this crazy that, because there are so many different type of people with different type of computer or digital skills involved, we have to be considerate about that. Nobody gets confused, nobody gets overwhelmed. There is no information overload. The cognitive load has to be managed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then the information safety is also critical, that you need to manage users, that who can see what information, the personal data. I mean, this must be, wow. I mean,
It's a lot. It's a lot. It is a very tough space to work in, but that's why it's so fun and challenging. And we work with incredible data scientists. We work on great problems trying to utilize AI to help support our users. We always believe in keeping the human in the loop, so we're never letting the computers, make the decisions for people, but we always want to assist people so that we can help them make the best decisions in those like really critical moments in these really tough incidents that they work in. And also help them with mental health as well, right? We want to help,
obviously, because the tools
yeah.
tools have to be available at hand. I think the other complex UX that I can think of might be, somebody working at NASA, to design the spaceship software. But this
Yep.
is something that actually makes a difference. A single error here and there, single field up and down, another field which is mandatory, that actually stops the entire process from happening. And if that happens, then people could lose lives. I mean,
That's
this is
right.
very impactful domain that you are in. How different do you think it is from the other domains that you have been working before coming into this service industry?
Yeah. So prior to working in public safety, I've worked in almost every other industry. You name it: consumer products, industrial products, healthcare. And it's so different. It's different for many reasons. It's different because it's government, so it's slow and it's archaic. You should see the tools that they use now. It like honestly, it's so upsetting to go observe some of these users and watch the tools that they use. They are slow, they are cumbersome, they are dated. I mean, if I worked in education, the education industry before joining Motorola, and I thought education was far behind. Um, it goes healthcare, education, public safety. Public safety is further behind, like 10 years behind education, which is shocking. I mean, it's
And
bad.
how do you manage the selling of UX? Because I think we have the research data, but there has to be somebody accepting it. How difficult that becomes, and how challenging is that?
Not it's not challenging because the user experience is so poor right now. It's like the bar is so low that it's in a way it's the easiest sell in the world. The hard part is getting the user experience right because in public safety, people don't like any kind of change because any kind of change to them means a risk, and any kind of risk means the potential for a loss of life. So we have to be so iterative in our process, and we have to bring our customers with us along in the process. We have to be very thoughtful about, training as well. And, just trying to get our products as close to truly intuitive, where as close to no training as possible. And you're still going to need training because it's public safety, but that's our goal.
I remember in the last discussion when we were talking about, you said that, after coming from different domains, you found your home and you never thought about that this is going to be the domain that you're going to stay. And when you teach at the university, how much, of this spills over to your students, because this is very exciting experience that you get out of this particular domain. So your student must be, thrilled to, get those ideas firsthand.
Oh, it's completely relevant. So I teach service design at the Institute of Design. I don't teach there currently, but in the past I've taught service design. And the way I interpret service design, everybody sort of has their own little definition of service design, but I've always thought of service design as really what you're doing is designing the internal operations kind of a company to optimize the external user experience, right? Because we can design the most brilliant user experience, but if a company isn't able to deliver that user experience, then what's the point? So for public safety, it's the same thing. The public, public safety is a team of people, right, that are working towards resolving some kind of incident, like a mass shooting, for example. And that team of people is a call taker, a dispatcher, police officers, firefighters, a medical team. And so they have internal operations that they are doing all together to provide a user experience to someone else. But Motorola is also a company that is trying to provide a user experience to their customers. So It's almost like there are two services that are being designed together simultaneously to deliver two user experiences. So it's very complicated.
So it's more like the cognitive load is on the designer rather than just keeping sure that the is just happens all the time. So the moment I'm listening to these things, to your stories, I think this will give great insights to people that what makes UX challenging.
Yes.
This is the the paramount of it, that when we actually think about it, is not just about if your website is responsive. It's
oh yeah.
This is something else altogether. And thank you very much for sharing your experiences like that with us, in such candid way. So I'm going to break that conversation and bring out my cards.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so these are our rapid fire questions. And in season 2, we have different questions than we had in the first season. So I'm going to shuffle them and I'm going to ask them quickly, and you have to answer really quickly.
Okay.
So that we get through the deck. Okay.
Got it.
One day in your life you would like to relive.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. That's so hard. My first day of graduate school. How about that?
Okay. Books or movies?
Movies.
Which one?
Oh no. Gosh, I am not good at this. I'm an overthinker. So this is like the hardest thing for me. Citizen Kane.
Okay. Your least favorite subject when you were studying in school or college?
Oh, industrial design and sketching. Marker rendering. Hate it.
Fast food or fine dining?
Fine dining. There's a place called Proxy in Chicago, and they make this like dip with this bread, and it's like amazing. Whatever the dip is, it's like always different, but it's amazing. Proxy. It's great.
Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Not fan of waking up early?
I actually am a morning person, but if I'm going to but I'm busy in the morning, I can enjoy the sunset.
Yeah, I really like sunrises, but unfortunately, I can't seem to see them.
Yeah, exactly. Who has the time? Yeah.
So go out or stay in?
I'm a stay in person.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you won $10 million today, what is the first thing that you're going to buy?
Honestly, I would donate it to neuroendocrine cancer research. Yeah.
All right. If you can move anywhere on Earth, where would you go?
New Zealand.
Oh, that's a beautiful country, actually.
It is.
Uh,
It's beautiful.
your least favorite job till date?
My least favorite job to date, easy. I feel bad like saying their name, but I worked at a company. I was desperate for a job. It was a packaging company. They made plastic packaging, and as soon as I joined, oil prices went up, and so like the job turned into like how much material could we like take out of the plastic packaging, and it was horrible, and it was a terrible job. So,
Okay. Your last Google search?
um, oh my gosh, can I actually look? I don't even know. I'm a researcher, so I'm constantly Googling everything.
Looking at things. Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking. Let's see. What did I Google last? Okay, so I Googled "Don't Tell the Bee in Apartment 23," which is a very funny TV show on Hulu that I highly recommend to everyone. I was trying to remember the name of it, so that's what I Googled.
Cool. I seen, I think, the first season, not after that, but
It's very funny. Very
it is.
funny.
It is. I think the
Yes.
lead actress, I don't know her name.
She's amazing.
She
She's
is,
amazing.
and I've seen in other shows as well, and movies and all. But yeah, she's always a pleasure.
Yes, yes.
And what is your guilty pleasure?
Let's see. My guilty pleasure is going on Spotify and starting a radio station based off of a song I like, and then just listening to new music, and then just favoriting song. Like I love finding new music just all the time. Yeah.
Great. And first thing you do when you wake up?
Look at my phone.
Okay.
Just like
and
everybody else, I'm sure. Yeah.
so this question was from the first season that we have actually removed it from the circulation, but I have to ask, what is your favorite phone app?
My favorite phone app. Lately it's Just Watch, which is an app that allows me to sort of keep track of everything that I've watched and everything new that's coming out and on which streaming network it's on, because it's so hard,
It's hard
to figure
to keep
out
track.
when.
Yeah, you know when the next episode is coming or when the season is out. Just
Yeah.
Watch, you said. Okay, that's
Yes,
something
so
that
Just
I
Watch.
definitely am going to check out, because in
Okay.
the last season we have recommendations such as Uber, TikTok, Notes, Calendar, Instagram, and among others. But they already, everybody had a reason that why those apps were actually useful. So I'll add that to the list
Okay.
as well. Okay,
It's not a
so
great user experience, but it's
it's your favorite,
functionally,
yeah.
it's good. It's good functionally. Yeah.
All right. So with that, we'll conclude the rapid fire part of our show. And coming back to something, something that you hold really dear, which is the website that you created about the cancer care cards.
Yeah.
So how those worksheets came to be, and what was the thought behind creating that website?
Yeah. So after my husband passed away from cancer, and it was very surprising. So he was diagnosed in February with neuroendocrine cancer, and then died 6 weeks later. And he was very healthy when he was diagnosed. So it was very shocking when he was diagnosed, and then it was very shocking how quickly he declined and then eventually passed away. And so after he passed away and I had time to reflect on our experience, I was just really angry and frustrated with the healthcare system for many reasons. I had spent time documenting, our experience during the time in the hospital on our Caring Bridge website, just to share with friends and family. And as I reflected on our experience, I looked back and I was like, what a messed up experience it was. This was wrong, what we went through. Like the actual user experience of what we went through was wrong. It occurred to me that we didn't get the right information in the beginning of the experience. We didn't get in the right information throughout the experience. And so when I thought about, who my husband was and how he, so my husband and I, we sort of did the same thing. I was at the time, um, uh, well, my husband worked at a company called Gravity Tank, which is an innovation consultancy in Chicago. It has since been purchased by Salesforce. But he was a user experience person. I'm a user experience person. And he always approached, projects like, hey, we don't know, design, you don't know what the end is, but you know the steps to get there. You follow the process. And when I thought about, a cancer diagnosis, I thought, hey, you don't know how you're going to get there, but you know where you want to go. You want to get rid of the cancer. And generally kind of the steps that you're going to need to get there. There's a treatment plan. There's going to be some milestones of diagnostic tests. And there's some basic, information that you start with. And so as I started piecing this stuff together, I just thought, well, this is just project planning. And I can put together some project planning worksheets to help people plan out what this cancer treatment and diagnosis plan is going to look like. Because when you are diagnosed, you're in a fog. And so I just thought this could help people understand what's happening.
But this must be really hard for you to actually, go through that experience and then, go ahead and document it and then, give the solution out. This must have helped you, deal with the entire situation which was going on around.
It did. It was cathartic in the sense that it made me feel like his death wasn't, for nothing. But I do have to say it made me feel kind of angry to put it out into the world that really just like a couple pieces of paper would have made this experience better. Because, right, like all the doctor had to do was just like write some information down, and he never did that. And that was what was upsetting, is that I didn't know enough at the time to even ask for that information to be written down for me. It wasn't until after all of this happened and I had some time to reflect that I thought of it. And so that's what kind of, so while it did help me kind of heal a little bit, it also kind of opened the wound a little bit more, because healthcare is awful. And there's so many little, small, simple things that could be done to make that experience better. And yet the system isn't set up for those little things to occur.
True. So all the listeners who are interested in knowing more about it, and if you want to read those worksheets or see that if they can be come in handy for help, God forbid if anybody needs them, they are available at www.cancerworksheets.com. I repeat the URL, which is www.cancerworksheets.com. So you can download it, share it socially as much as you can. People think that cancer is something that happens to other people, and it's something that cannot happen to their near and dear ones or themselves. But it's a surprising disease, and it's not just one form of disease. It's a collection of different type of diseases which are named the word cancer. So that is where the help is available. Thank you very much, April, for actually setting that up and putting this out there for everybody. So with that, I think we are at a part of the conversation when I have to ask you that people who are starting off in UX, who are coming into the industry, do you want to have give any suggestions to them, or something that you wish you knew before you started your journey as a UX professional?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny. I think when I was in school, I think everybody really gravitated towards brands of companies. Like, I want to work at IDEO, I want to work at Fitch, I want to work at this place, I want to work at that place. And now that I'm older, I look at things, and not just me, but my colleagues as well. We look at things through, who are the people I'm going to be working with? What's the content I'm going to be working on? and really what is the organization that I'm going to be working within. And those are really the three things that are really most important. It has very little to do with the brand of the company. So, find a place where the people are supportive and they're people that are going to inspire you. Find a place where the content itself is going to be something that is exciting for you. Right? I know so many people that they just want to go and work at Google, which is fine. If you want to go work at Google, that's great. But just remember that at Google, you're going to be like a small fish in a giant pond. And so you're going to be working on like this little piece of a user experience versus maybe getting a broad, working on more of a user experience at a smaller place. So just think about, what scope you want to work on.
So I think earlier in the career, I think it is best to, work for, relatively smaller places,
I think so
making
too.
sure that the work that you're actually getting is on point. And that is where, I just, as we were talking, I said that the work that you are doing is exceptional and very challenging. And, even I got excited hearing about it. So you also said that you are still looking for people to hire?
Yes, we have a number of people, a number of positions open on both the research team and the UX design team. On the UX design side, we're looking for UX designers, UI, visual design. And so, we have positions open globally. So, definitely check out our website, Motorola Solutions. We have all of our positions listed on LinkedIn. You can also send your resume directly to an email address, designops@motorolasolutions.com. We'd love to take a look and see your work and hear from you. But we work on really exciting stuff. I can't tell you. And we have a great team of people. We're about to have a UX summit globally, and we have great speakers coming. It's such a fun team. I'm so grateful to be a part of this team. I can't speak highly enough about it. It's awesome.
We can get the idea. I mean, in the entire conversation, the emotions have gone in all over the directions. I mean, even before we started the recording, we were talking about something else, and the conversation came to UX and the career, and then we had a rapid fire, and then we went into the serious mode. I can imagine that, this is how banter should feel like, and I'm really glad that we got an opportunity and to connect like this. So thank you very much for joining us for this podcast. This actually concludes today's episode. Season 2 has been, lucky to have you on our, as things are progressing. So UX Banter is a podcast which is presented by Galaxy UX Studio and in association with Galaxy Weblinks, which is a full service provider company. So for all the listeners, we will get back to you with another episode next week. So make sure that you subscribe and like and download or add to the playlist, whatever you do, whichever platform you're coming from, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We are everywhere. So thank you very much for joining, and thanks, April, once again.